I've told many stories about places where time itself bends, but there's one I almost didn't dare to tell. A story about a hotel in Louisiana, the kind of place travel bloggers call haunted aesthetic. It's called the Magnolia Rest, a small wooden building at the edge of a swamp. Cypress roots twist around its foundations, and the air smells of old perfume and rain. The hotel has become strangely popular among TikTokers. People come there to chase ghosts, to make viral clips, to prove they're not afraid. But every one of them talks about the same room. Room 313. They say in that room stands a mirror. Not just an antique decoration, no. It's a tall, ornate mirror with silver edges, rumored to show you not your reflection, but the version of you that waits beyond death. No one knows who brought it there. Some say it belonged to a woman named Lucille Duval, a local fortune teller who disappeared in 1893. Others say the mirror was part of her ritual, a doorway for spirits that never closed. A few weeks ago, a travel influencer, a guy named Evan Blake, checked into the Magnolia Rest. He had nearly 2 million followers. His videos were light-hearted, full of jokes and spooky challenges. And his last upload was titled, "The Mirror in Room 313, It's Real." The clip starts like any other. Evan walks through the hallway, filming himself. You can hear the floorboards creak under his steps. The walls are covered with old floral wallpaper, peeling at the corners. At the end of the hall, a door, black numbers, 313. He says, "Okay guys, this is it. They say the mirror here doesn't show your reflection. Let's see what happens." Then he laughs, that kind of nervous laugh people use when they want to sound brave. He turns the camera toward the mirror. At first, you see his reflection, the same messy hair, the ring light shining behind him. Then, the image flickers. Only for a second, but when it clears, his reflection isn't moving with him anymore. Evan waves his hand. The reflection stares. No delay, no glitch, just silence. The lights dim. He mutters, "Must be the camera lag," but his voice shakes. He leans closer, and that's when he whispers, "It smiled. I didn't." He backs away fast, turns off the camera, and the video cuts there. That's the last time anyone saw him alive. Police found his phone in the room 2 days later. The mirror stood untouched, but the reflection on the phone screen, the paused frame of the last second, shows something impossible. There are 2 Evans, one behind the glass, closer to the mirror's edge, and the one in front, frozen mid-movement. But their eyes, only the reflection's eyes, are gone. Locals say if you stay in room 313 and stare too long, your reflection begins to breathe on its own. Some say the mirror hung once in a funeral home, used to catch souls before burial. Others claim it's older, something that remembers every death it's witnessed. And on TikTok, the comments under Evan's last video keep growing. One user wrote, I saw myself there too, but without eyes. Another said, the reflection whispered my name when I turned the sound off. The hotel owner removed the room from the booking site, but sometimes when guests check in, the receptionist warns them, if you hear the sound of glass tapping at night, don't open your eyes. They say the mirror waits for someone new every month, and once it shows you who you'll become after death, it doesn't let you forget. And that's why I never film reflections. Not anymore. Not anymore.
I wasn't planning to visit Louisiana again. But when you collect stories like I do, they find you. And something about that mirror wouldn't let me sleep. So a month later, I checked into the Magnolia Rest myself. The front desk clerk was quiet, an old woman with pale eyes and a name tag that simply read Marie. When I asked for room 313, she froze. Then she said softly, "If you're going to look, don't touch the glass." That night, the hall was empty. The air smelled of rust and lilac perfume. My steps echoed as I walked toward the door at the end. The numbers 313 burned faintly under the flickering bulb. The door creaked open. The room was smaller than I expected. A single bed, yellow wallpaper, and that mirror standing against the far wall. It reached from floor to ceiling, framed in tarnished silver, carved with tiny roses. For a moment, I just stared at it. My reflection looked normal, tired, curious. I even smiled, and the reflection smiled back, perfectly in sync. But the air was wrong, thicker, as if the room itself was holding its breath. I set my recorder on the nightstand and started speaking. This is October 17th. I'm documenting room 313, the mirror of Lucille Duval. No unusual activity yet. Then I turned off the lamp, leaving only the pale glow of the hallway light slipping through the door crack. And that's when it started. The reflection blinked once, but I didn't. I froze. My pulse slowed, heavy in my ears, and then my reflection tilted its head, just slightly, like it was curious. I whispered, "Who are you?" And though no sound came from the glass, my reflection mouthed the same words perfectly, only a fraction later. Then its lips curved into something that wasn't a smile, something knowing. The mirror began to fog, but only from the inside. Behind the glass, shadows twisted, faint silhouettes forming faces, shapes, eyes, all staring outward. I stepped closer, and for an instant, I saw him, Evan, standing just behind my reflection. He looked hollow, his eyes like black wells, skin stretched thin as paper. He raised his hand and pressed it to the glass, and my reflection mirrored the gesture, palm to palm. The glass was cold, but I swear I felt a heartbeat under it. Then something shifted. My reflection stopped mimicking me. It moved on its own. Its mouth opened, but I couldn't hear the sound. Still, I could read its lips. It said,
Stay. The air in the room dropped. My breath turned white. Behind the reflection, more faces appeared, a crowd pressing against the other side of the mirror, all pale, all eyeless, each one mouthing the same word, stay. I stumbled backward, grabbed my recorder. It slipped from my hand, hit the floor, and the light flickered out completely. When it came back, the mirror was empty. No reflection, just darkness. And then I heard it. A tap from inside the glass. Once, twice, 3 times. I turned slowly, and my reflection was back. Only it wasn't me. It was older, tired, eyes blackened, as if they'd seen everything that comes after. I reached for the doorknob, but the door didn't move. And in the mirror, my reflection turned and walked away toward the darkness behind it, leaving me alone with the glass. When I finally broke free, when I slammed the door behind me and ran down the hallway, I swear I heard footsteps following, perfectly in sync with mine, echoing just a fraction too late. I left the hotel before dawn, but when I got home, my phone camera started flickering every time I passed a mirror. Sometimes it freezes, just for a moment, and I can see the frame of that silver glass, even though it's hundreds of miles away. The police say no one checks into room 313 anymore. They say the mirror cracked last week after a storm. But I don't believe that. Because every time it rains, I still hear that tap. 1, 2, 3. Like something trying to remind me. You saw what waits beyond, and it saw you too. 1, 2, 3.